Ready Player One, directed by Steven Spielberg, tells the story of Wade Watts, an 18-year-old gamer who spends most of his time inside the virtual world of the Oasis. The Oasis is a gaming world where people can escape from their harsh realities by simply putting on a headset and pressing start. In the Oasis, you can be or do anything your heart desires. The possibilities are endless. It's like No Man's Sky, but you can actually interact with other living people. And it's fun! The creator of the Oasis, James Halliday, was a man obsessed with pop culture, specifically the pop culture of the 1980s. The world of the Oasis is littered with different references to his favorite movies, shows, video games, everything that was cool in the 80s. Hidden deep inside of the Oasis is a golden Easter egg that was hidden by Halliday before his death. As his last will and testament, whoever finds the golden egg will inherit his fortune and will gain full control of the Oasis itself. In order to find the egg, one must first acquire 3 hidden keys that are hidden within the Oasis. There's a lot of hiding in this movie. Everything's hidden. Wade Watts and his group of friends must find the 3 keys before the evil corporation IOI find them first, and take full control of the Oasis. When I first read the Ready Player One novel, I instantly knew it was going to be adapted into a movie directed by Spielberg. It's a love letter to pop culture, so it's tailor-made for Spielberg. He made his name in the 1980s. It seems that everybody in today's society wants to bring the 80s back, but that's okay with Spielberg. That's where they made him at, Hova. The biggest challenge in adapting this book was bringing the Oasis to life, and Spielberg does it flawlessly. It's easy to take him for granted because of his most recent efforts, but this is why he's considered one of the best directors alive. The world is a perfect imagination of what the Oasis would look and feel like if it actually existed. A bunch of gamers running around, killing each other, collecting coins and items, trying to upgrade their characters. The visual effects are not perfect on purpose, because the Oasis is a virtual reality. It's supposed to have that uncanny valley feel of a video game. The avatars look like they were created by teenage gamers. They are either caricatures of themselves, or they're based on some iconic fictional character. You can buy different skins, different designs, different hairstyles. Once again, that DLC just ain't going anywhere, even in 2045. Many fans and critics thought that the film would lean too heavily into the nostalgia aspect from the book. The selling point of the movie is, hey, remember this? Remember this thing you liked when the world wasn't so complex? I didn't mind the nostalgia from the book because the world of Ready Player One is a world where people no longer create. It's a stagnant society, both socially and artistically. There's a line in the movie where Wade says that the world has stopped trying to solve its problems and it just tries to outlive them. Not only are people living in a virtual reality, but they're also living in the past. They're clinging onto something that doesn't exist in reality, similar to the Oasis. Nostalgia is very important to the story's overall message, so I didn't find it out of place. In regards to the action of the film, nobody does adventure better than Spielberg, and the action set pieces in Ready Player One rival some of the best work he's ever done. And whether you love him or hate him, you think his films are shallow, they lack depth, you cannot deny his skill on a technical level. No director alive moves the camera as well as Spielberg, and nobody can composite a scene like Spielberg. His camera movements are so smooth and subtle, and the car chase that was teased in the first trailer is incredible. And it's actually one of the major changes from the book. The real challenge of creating this movie and creating the Oasis is making people care about the players who are playing inside of it. You can craft this virtual world filled with epic landscapes and action set pieces, but if your characters suck, then your world will feel hollow. Thankfully, Ty Sheridan and Olivia Cooke have great on-screen chemistry as our 2 lead heroes, Parzival and Artemis, and they are supported by a group of great characters. They're funny, they're relatable. This is what Spielberg does best. The child actors going back to E.T., Jurassic Park. He's in his ballpark throughout the whole film. And really, it's funny because this story is just like a gamer's fantasy. A nerdy teenager with no friends falls in love with an equally nerdy but also very attractive teenage girl, and together they save the world from an evil corporation. It's kind of hilarious how unrealistic it is. It's similar to those stories from the 1980s. The one that comes to mind is War Games, one of my favorite 1980s films. I was a little disappointed in Ben Mendelsohn's character, Nolan Sorrento, the leader of IOI. I thought he was good in the role. Ben Mendelsohn's a good actor, but the character was dumbed down from the book. He's kind of a bumbling idiot rather than the capable and intimidating villain he was portrayed as in the book. But Mendelsohn, like I said, he's a great actor, so he makes the character work. And Simon Pegg and Mark Rylance as the co-creators of the Oasis. Rylance as James Halliday, he was terrific. And Simon Pegg has, I don't want to spoil his role, but it's pretty clever. Both in the film and the book, I really enjoy the real-world commentary. I mean, how far off really are we from the Oasis existing in the real world? Our society is already very dependent on technology. Imagine an entire world you can escape to. And like I said earlier, it's a society that's living in the past. Nobody creates anything. I think that's the message of the book, is that, hey, it's great to be nostalgic, but let's create something new for the next generations. And also the aspect of the corporation trying to take over the Oasis. They could be viewed as cliche villains, especially Mendelssohn's character, but it's something we're seeing in today's world in the form of DLC and microtransactions, corporations trying to milk as much money as they can from their consumers. It's no longer $60 buy a game, it's how much money can we make off of gaming culture. So I don't think people are giving enough credit to the book and the film. It's not as shallow as people think. The two biggest problems I had with the movie both come in the first act. The first 10 minutes or so feel very rushed. I thought that rather than explaining the Oasis in the beginning, they could have let things play out naturally and then explain the different parts of the Oasis when necessary. I can understand why they wanted to get that out of the way in the beginning. Also, I wish they would have focused a little bit more on the real world in the beginning of the film. We're led to believe that most people use the Oasis to escape their reality, but we're never really shown why the reality needs escaping from. The people in Ready Player One live in a broken society, and the film really doesn't explain why their society is so bad. Wade Watts in particular is one of the poorest characters in the book, and his poverty really puts him at a disadvantage against the other players. We don't really feel that disadvantage in the movie. You know, at least they had the trailer park with all the trailers stacked on top of each other. That was a cool nod to the book's cover, but I'm afraid people are going to see that and be like, oh, look, cool, trailer hotels. The future's awesome. These are nitpicks. It's impossible for a 2-hour film to hit home on every aspect of the book that it's based on. But still, Ready Player One is a really fun adaptation that remains faithful enough to its source material and even made some welcome changes when necessary. So I would give Ready Player One a 7 out of 10. And don't comment saying, oh, Spielberg's back, he's never left. Although the post is terrible. Actually, you know what? Spielberg's back. Hey guys, thank you for watching this video, and before we go, I want to quickly thank our Patreon supporters. Without your support, we wouldn't be able to grow and evolve as a channel, so thank you for your generous pledges. If you are interested in supporting our channel through Patreon, visit www.patreon.com/nerdsoup, and you can see the different rewards we offer to our Patreon supporters. T-shirts, mugs, stickers, access to our behind-the-scenes video, and more. Thanks again for watching this video, and make sure you like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Or dislike, don't share, and unsubscribe. It's a binary world, folks.